welcome back. You've joined a recent HOG Auckland Chapter ride leading from North Auckland Harley-Davidson in Takapuna. And this one's a few firsts. I'm leading this particular ride. It's a short ride, one of our I guess you'd call them half-day rides. In reality, they're probably an hour and a half, 2 hours of riding, about 120 to 160 k's. This particular ride's going to be about 120 k's now. We've got a couple of guests along on this ride, including Farmer John from the Adelaide Chapter, who's over visiting from South Australia, and also one of our club members, Phil, long-standing Harley man from both sides of the Tasman. His daughter and 2 grandsons have come over to join us, and she's on the back with Phil, and the grandsons have hitched a ride on the back of 2 other club members, Camo and Dino, the back of their bikes. So getting a taste of riding on Harleys. It turns out the lads haven't been on motorbikes before, so it seemed like a good opportunity, particularly since the sun is finally shining in Auckland. Certainly had some fun putting this ride together because the landscape around the Auckland region has changed considerably. A lot of the roads that we used to take for granted are no longer rideable. They're either closed for maintenance, or they're unrideable for a period of time, or they've got stop-go guys on them. Our riding options have changed quite a lot with the recent severe rainstorm that we had a few weeks back, followed very soon afterwards, was it 1 week or 1.5 weeks later, by Cyclone Gabrielle. So yes, it took a little bit of a review and rewriting to map out a ride that was going to be enjoyable for us all, and also avoid the worst of the troubles that are out there. So hopefully we managed to deliver that. Anyway, the ride was starting to spread out a little bit, so we stopped for one of several regroups. This is one just before Trig Road. Let's have a listen to what the Tail End Charlie has to say.
We lost the rider back at Pine Valley Road. He ran out of gas, or he's going to the gas station, going to meet us there.
Okay, that's all though?
Yeah.
Big thanks to Murray Riding's Tail End Charlie today, looking after the rear. We had about, I think there were around 18 or so bikes, half a dozen pillions on this ride. My wife's on the back, so she was one of the 6 carrying on the rear. Murray was just letting me know that we had lost a rider somewhere along the way. He'd pulled out for lack of fuel, which is of course a fine. Next time he would come to club night, but we'll catch up with that a bit later on. Anyway, we're travelling up kind of out west. There's usually a lot of options for riding out here, but again, you have to pick very, very carefully these days because there's a lot of closed roads. We would usually try and swing through or close by some of the regional parks or towards the coast, but the west coast of Auckland suffered pretty terribly with some horrible slips that claimed lives, in fact. So a lot of the roading network out there is closed and will be for a little while, so it's a great shame. Very sad for those families that have been affected in that way. Now as we're heading along here, along Hannam Road, we're heading towards Waitoki Road, at which point we'll start to swing the ride back in a northeasterly direction, heading us back towards Albany. And to get there, we'll be going through Riverhead, and then across Ridge Road, which kind of runs from Paremaremo down through to Albany. So we're over the halfway mark and just starting to now, I guess you'd call it, turning for home. Now we did pick up a few drops of rain heading back there along Hannam Road, but they didn't stay around for very long, and we've had some perfect riding weather today. It's really been pretty nice. It has been a little bit muggy and humid, but I'll take that over rain and cyclones any old day, no problem at all. Now as we're leading into Riverhead here, we the ride did get separated or split out a little bit, so we had to have a few more regroup stops than I originally thought we would, but that's okay. You just run the ride as the ride happens to be. It's a living organism. So this was our final regroup stop in Riverhead, on the Coatesville Riverhead Highway, and we're just waiting for Murray to come past, which will then signal that in fact we're all here, all together, and we can just carry on riding again. Now, as we're coming up around the corner here, a little bit further along, there was a lot of flooding that happened further on up the road, and to remedy it, they've got cones out all over the place and special speed limit, 30-kilometre speed signs all over the place. This guy can't have been paying attention, and he's got pulled up by a couple of policemen, and we slowed right down to a 30-kilometre-an-hour crawl to get past them and not bring attention to ourselves. Anyway, once we got past that, we head back up towards the ridge, heading through Wake Road, and this takes us up onto Ridge Road, which runs up just above Palermo district, where the maximum security prison is, but we're not going near that at the moment. We're just riding along the ridge line, and we're going to join onto Palermo Road through a little road called Elmore Road. We'd typically be turning back further down a little street, but that particular street that would have taken us past the prison, that road has got a whole lot of slips on it. It's got traffic light controlled, one lane only access, and then further along on the top part of Palermo Road, there's again a whole lot of road damage, which means that it's pretty uncomfortable stuff. So instead we just chose to ride along Ridge Road, then down Elmore, and we skipped through a whole lot of pretty horrible roads. And Elmore's, well, it's an interesting little lane. It does have a white line painted all the way through it, but it's still a pretty skinny little road, but it's not used by many people, so it's actually quite a delightful change, to be honest. Not bad at all. Now, as we're coming down Palermo Road, this will lead into another street. It's called the Avenue, and directly ahead of that is the Albany Pub, which is our final destination. So I hope that our guests that came along the ride across from the West Island, Farmer John and Phil's family, daughter and grandsons, have enjoyed the ride, the day out, and we certainly enjoyed having them along with us for the ride, and we enjoyed socialising with everybody afterwards in the pub. So I'll let this one play out here. There's a couple of pictures at the end. You can see our merry band settling in to have our food and drinks. In the meantime, I'll leave you with that. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care out there. Ride safe. See you next time.